I feel like it was always like a part of me and I didn't know it, if that makes sense. The physicality of dance and how that manifests like how you're feeling or what you think has always been a very like immediate connection for me, and it's always been such a strong identifier for me. Like when people say, oh, like I'm so and so and I'm a student, mine is always I'm Alyssa and I'm a dancer. I've been dancing for 12 years. I started when I was 9. I kind of started dance by accident. I was doing cheerleading at the time, and then the owner of a dance studio came to watch our exhibition, and she saw me and I was a complete like ham and I was like way too much. And so she kind of just asked me if I wanted to take some dance classes, and I said yeah, and now that person's my best friend, which is pretty cool. I started teaching kind of by default. The studio that I grew up in started competing again, and so I kind of would go to the competitions as a little bit of like a mentor for the girls if they needed help with like makeup or different things. And I realized at that point that I was like addicted to the world of competition dance, and then from there, I was lucky enough to get offered a teaching job the next year. My creative process is atrocious. It's so scary. It's basically just thinking about an idea enough or finding a song. A lot of times it starts with the music. For me, that's more where I get some sort of inspiration from. And I'll listen to a song until it sounds like something to me, whether it be a transition or a lot of times I try to think of like the first move of a dancer, how a dance would be lit in the beginning and what tone that would evoke, and then from really, really lyrically driven. So if it's not a clear character, then I'll really listen to what the lyrics are saying and find a way. I'm really big on like hand gestures. If it says like 2 times, I'll do like 2 times, like different, or like 2 times or 2 times. Like I'll try to fit in hand signals or different things that are very literal to the music that kind of sit with me. And then outside of that, it's just kind of playing with that. Once I see it on people, then I'll kind of go through and change it. So a lot of times for me, when it comes to kind of what I do to come up with an idea for a dance, it's thinking about things that have happened in my life or things that have happened in friends' lives, and then distancing enough from those to make it something that's feasible for people. So a lot of times it ends up being phrases or making the idea behind it not human or a little bit more of a character, so that I can kind of from there take an idea and grow with it and tell a story that doesn't feel like it's mine or specifically anyone else's, but kind of universally taken in by an audience. My biggest goal in the end is that if someone's entertained by something, that they can relate to it enough, and if they can relate to it, then they'll respect it. And so I think that's kind of the process that I try to go across. But yeah, there's always a feeling that what you're gonna put on stage isn't going to be received well, and then at the end of the day, your name's on that, and that's where you've put all your thought and like literal tears into, when you can't think of what to put there, put in this 30 seconds, and then if it's not received well, then it's the bane of your existence is that 30 seconds, or however you want to think about it. I think it's like the most me thing that I get to do in like a kind of a self-indulgent way. It's you go through like daily life and you go to school or you do, you know, regular day-to-day things, but when I get to sit down and create something, even if it's not necessarily like my favorite song or my exact style, it's my interpretation of something. And so getting to see that on stage and come to fruition, and I've kind of gone to see that within the past few months of seeing these ideas that were born on like the floor of my living room, like that's so rewarding in a selfish way. So for me, the physicality of dance and how that manifests like how you're feeling or what you think has always been a very like immediate connection for me, and it's always been such a strong identifier for me. Like when people say, oh, like I'm so and so and I'm a student, mine is always I'm Alyssa and I'm a dancer, or I'm Alyssa and I'm a dancer and a choreographer, or however I want to say it. That's always been a very, very large part of my identity, and so I just don't think I could picture myself without it. It just comes naturally. And I always say like some people have religion and I just have dance. Like it connects me to something that's bigger than me, or an idea that's bigger than me.